Football is back, and some things never change. Liverpool beat Arsenal, Tottenham draw, and West Brom beats Chelsea. This is Red Card Radio.
Wow, you had to say that be the intro, of course.
It was always going to be the intro, Brad. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're listening from. Thanks for tuning in. This is Red Card Radio. Red Card Radio is a weekly look at the Premier League from normally for friends who support different teams. We are down our resident Liverpool supporter this week, Tam Zeed. So that means that this is no longer a United slander podcast. It is a Liverpool slander podcast. Gentlemen, how we doing? We got @KS Brad G. Brad holding down the top row with me, and then all alone down below by himself, our lonely Tottenham supporter, Sean @WhiteHeart_. Sean, what's going on, boys? You guys ready to slander Jurgen and the boys?
Oh, yeah.
We're always down for some Liverpool slander. I'm here for it.
Let's do it. So a couple things we're going to talk about. Of course, the Premier League's back after the second worst international break of the year is finally out of the way, and we are now into the end of the season. We're working our way down to the finals of competitions and whatnot. Got eight games or so left in the Premier League for most teams, but things we're going to talk about today. Of course, all of the results from the weekend of our teams that we support. We'll also touch on any of the other results in the Premier League that we want to talk about. We'll talk about the European fixtures a little bit, touch on the Champions League and the Europa League before we look forward to this weekend's coming games. But as we're accustomed to doing on Red Card Radio, we are going to quickly go over the Premier League table as my button's not working. There we go. Kind of as a primer for our conversation today. Of course, City still in the lead, 74 points there now, only 11 points away from being crowned champions, assuming United take full points, Brad. I've done the math, don't worry, Brad. United still in second, Leicester is in third, West Ham United, not Fulham, West Ham United, is back up to fourth, after Chelsea's interesting result at the weekend. Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Everton round up the top 8. Villa take back 9th position, Arsenal back in 10th. And then kind of everything else below them is as it was. Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield round out the relegation spots. And Newcastle picked up a really important point against Spurs at the weekend, so that could really help bolster their relegation, their survival hopes, I should say. But we're going to start in Leicester, the Leicester-Manchester City game. City won 2-0. Of course, I said earlier, Pep and the boys are now 11 points away from the title. And should Leicester fans be concerned that this is another collapse like last year? What are our thoughts on this result, boys?
No,
I don't think you read into it.
No,
I don't think you read into it when you lose to the robots.
It's a machine.
They're just chugging.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you guys. I think go for it, Sean.
I watched. I think I'm pretty sure I was able to see the entire game. Undivided attention, and there was at no point in that game from minute 1 to minute 90 that I felt like Leicester had a chance to win that game. It was full bore press, attacking third for it felt like 90 minutes.
Yeah, I for the parts that I picked up in that match, it looked like Jamie Vardy was just kind of like running around like a crazy person, and not really able to touch the ball.
They had, I think, 3 total counters. 1 Vardy scored but was offsides. So they got 3 chances.
Yeah.
All game, like real chances. It was actually a pretty boring game to watch because it was almost a City goal for the entirety of it.
But I mean, that's what we're expecting from City. Like they're on their way to being champions. Nothing is stopping that, and so it's kind of unsurprising I wasn't expecting Leicester to get any points out of this game, and I agree with you. I think the experience of them faltering last season is going to drastically inform the way that they approach the last 8 games of the season for them. And I don't see Brendan Rodgers allowing this team to fail 2 seasons in a row. Especially they don't have any other distractions. All they've got is the Premier League to play in. And I guess they have the FA Cup too, right? They're in the semifinals, aren't they? Playing somebody.
Oh yeah, they are.
They have Southampton, don't they?
Yeah, because it's City, Chelsea, then Southampton, Leicester.
Yeah. So they have a little bit of a distraction, but in all honesty, I mean, Southampton's a good squad. They could on any given day they can show up and be trouble. But yeah, I don't think there's much takeaway from that match personally, other than City doing City things and Leicester just being the unfortunate recipients of those City things. But that means we have to turn our attention to the next match on our list. Brad, what's your boy Silva doing? What's Thiago Silva doing, man? How are you getting? How are you getting 2 yellow cards in 30 minutes?
Thiago got the yellows. So yes, that last challenge was silly and stupid. But Jorginho has blood on his hands for both of those. Both of those yellow cards came from Jorginho mistakes. And Alonso can't get back, can't defend. So he either needs to be the attacking winger or not in the side. Chile, we definitely missed Chile's speed in getting back because West Brom had the right flank all to themselves. Those crosses just kept firing in because Alonso was out of position. So this is squarely at Jorginho and Alonso's feet for this L.
Interesting.
Although, like Tuchel said, if the same game was played 9 times out of 10, Chelsea was winning it. He even mentioned XG, by the way. He said we wanted XG, we wanted all of these stats in the press conference.
That's
but
the least
this is all
surprising
Jorginho's fault.
It's not surprising to me at all that Tuchel is a firm believer in analytics and statistics.
Oh yeah, totally not.
It's a humorous result. It's funny. It keeps the top 4 race alive for a lot of teams.
We opened the door for everybody.
Yeah, and I think that especially with the roll that Chelsea were on, it seemed like you guys were just kind of building momentum and just kind of snowballing down the hill.
Yep.
And it kind of was are they going to slip up? And I know Tamzid's been saying for weeks he can't wait for the slip up. He was hoping, blah blah blah. When's the slip up going to happen? Because once the slip up happens, the wheels are coming off the bus. But it just, I think today's result, of course, in the Champions League kind of proved that. But we'll talk about that in a minute, Brad.
Well, so I can bring that up then, too, because Tammy's theory on Manchester United kind of applies to Chelsea right now, but we can only play 1 game a week.
But that's not your squad is ridiculously deep.
Oh, I know, but that's what the results say, right? We beat Everton, draw Leeds, beat Atleti. Then we beat Sheffield, lose to West Brom, beat Porto. So Crystal Palace is probably beating us. Drawing.
Sheffield was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it? That was right before the international break, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, my bad. So
I was wondering this after the Arsenal game about whether or not I felt like Arsenal's result against Liverpool would have been different had we played Liverpool on the other side of the international break. So I wonder if part of that can be said about Chelsea. You guys are clearly a squad full of international players. Everyone was traveling, and so it's not like that your West Brom is largely training for those 2 weeks. they probably had some players on international duties, whether that's with youth setups or whatever.
Right.
But they're largely just training for 2 weeks, training for Chelsea specifically for 2 weeks. And they can probably reasonably deduce like who's going to be playing in which positions just based on who is available, who isn't on international duty for Chelsea, right? So like people like Alonso wasn't called up, was he?
Nope, he was not.
Thiago Silva wasn't called up because he's 95 years old.
Yes, he was.
He played for Brazil this weekend.
I'm pretty sure he played in the Brazil squad. He's been playing in the Brazil squad.
I need you to check on that while I'm thinking through my thought. But like you can kind of look at like who's still available and say, all right, Alonso's going to play, Thiago's going to play, Jorginho's going to play. Like you can kind of I think kind of make some reasonable assumptions in those 2 weeks and really kind of hone in a game plan. But I don't take anything away from this game. It was humorous. It keeps the top four race alive, but do I think that it's going to knock the wheels off the Chelsea bus? I don't think so. I also don't think it really does much for West Brom because, like, in all honesty, like they're still in 19th. They are still 8 points off of safety with 8 games to play. That's a lot of points to make up over 8 games when you are as bad as they are. Like you could have hope if you are, so like Villa is at 44 points and they have 9 games to play, and West Ham is at 52 right now. So Villa have a game in hand on West Ham for 4th place. Like you could make an argument that Villa, like, because they're a legitimate squad, like that they legitimately have a chance at top 4. You can make an argument, but I think 8 points in the relegation zone as compared to 8 points to get to top 4 is very different, with 8 or 9 games left to play. So you're just in on Jorginho, like you're just
Jorginho was trash.
He's running wind sprints for you.
He should be the entire time.
All right.
Brazil did not play in the international break this time.
No,
it looks like.
Okay, well, this is a really informed podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
We're here for it.
I mean, I have no idea if Brazil played in the internet, but I seriously doubt that Silva was going to be called up. There's no way. He's 87 years old.
He's played at least 4 matches for this cycle.
That's shocking to me. All right, let's talk about Arsenal Liverpool. Or do we have to? I mean,
you made me sit through that slander.
I mean, it was expected, right? Like Arsenal
3-0 though, with Arsenal's form and how they had been playing, I think 3-0 is shocking.
Shocking.
I don't think the loss is shocking. I expected 1-0, maybe 2-0 with a Salah magic goal.
Okay,
but 3-0 is. I could
give you that our defense has been playing much better, and so we've been a lot more defensively resolute recently. So yeah, I could buy that argument that 3-0 is a bit shocking. And every year Arsenal get me to a point where I just get apathetic. And I'm not to that point at this point in the season because we're still playing. We're still in it for the Europa League. So like I'm not to the point. If we get slapped by Slavia Prague tomorrow, then all bets are off. But I'm not happy that we lost. I'm disappointed that we lost, but I don't feel like it's a shattering result in the sense that there's no way that Arsenal can get into the top 4 now. If we're sitting on 45 points right now instead of 42 with an equal number of games played as West Ham, I think that's a different conversation. But I think that there's no chance anymore. And so my prediction 2 weeks ago that Arsenal were going to finish in the top 4 was 100% a homer pick, and it's going to 100% be wrong. But it's like this was a clear example of a team that is just better than another team. Like position for position, Liverpool are just a better squad than Arsenal. Their center forward play is better. Their wing back play is better, or full back play is better. Their midfield play is better. I I don't want to
Are
say
their center backs better now?
I don't want to say their center back play is better, because I think that we had two better center backs on the field than they did, but their center backs played better than ours did. Their goalkeeper is better than ours is. And so, like, it's just kind of like position for position. They just match up much better against Arsenal. And they're just a much better team than Arsenal. We beat them last year at this time in the season because Becker had two crazy, like, head implosion, like, moments where he, like, passed the ball to Lacazette. Or, like, it was like we stole the ball, like, 30 yards from their goal, and it was, like, one-on-one. So, like, that's the only reason we beat them last year at this time. So I don't know. I don't take too much away from this game. I think it's good. It's definitely a good result for Liverpool.
Puts Liverpool.
They're deep in the top four race now. So they're 3 points off of fourth.
Good job. Leave it to Arsenal to ruin the Liverpool free fall they were doing.
Well, I think Tamzid is still hoping that Liverpool finish fifth, Everton finish fourth, and that Liverpool win the Champions League, and that Arsenal win the Europa League. But I'm totally okay with that timeline too, by the way. But I think he's still hoping for the meme exit of Everton. But that's not happening either.
No.
So yeah, I think it's a really good result for Liverpool. I think that they can definitely stir the pot, because nobody wants to play Liverpool. You might want to play Liverpool at Anfield. That might be the time where you want to play Liverpool, because there's still 6 in a row, 6 in a row losses at home in the league. So maybe you just want to play them at home, because Anfield is not intimidating without fans. But yeah, for me personally, it's not a shocking result. I'm not super disappointed, and I'm also not disappointed that I don't have to, like, listen to Tamzid, like, drone on about whatever he would be droning on about right now. So
he'd be in pain right now. Let's be real.
for different reasons.
Let's
For different reasons.
Cheeseburger boy coming through, even though he wasn't even playing. Let's go,
Brad. You can't. Oh man,
I can't wait.
All right,
for him to hear this.
Let's talk about Newcastle and Spurs. It looked like Spurs were in control until they famously shipped points in the last 10 minutes of a match again. I know you guys have been looking up this statistic since Sunday. What is it, like 13 goals or something like that? 13 points.
It is 13 drop points from winning positions
in like the last 15 minutes or something, all right?
In the last 15 minutes of the game.
That's an absolutely insane stat.
We would be second.
13 points puts you second.
We would have 62 points.
Oh man!
All we had to do was not lose. That's less than what I'm talking about, because there was like 2 or 3 draws that we had that we gave up a late winner to the other team. So that's probably like 15 points that we would have.
No, I mean,
if we could just not give up a goal in the last 15 minutes.
Draws account. That 13 point accounts for those draws. It has to, because 13 points is not divisible by 3. So it has to account draws.
Yeah.
Right?
Gotcha. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm happy for that result, because my boy Joe Willock scored the equalizer, though he tried really, really hard to miss it. He almost skied that. That would have been the most Newcastle thing ever. He's like 6 yards from goal, and he hits it into the roof of the net, and you're kind of like, bro, you didn't need to hit it that hard. But my boy got the goal. My boy sunk Spurs. That makes me happy.
He said, "I missed the North London Derby. Let me show you how Arsenal does."
So this leads me to my question, Sean. And I feel like we've talked about this every week because of the figure that we have to talk about. But no, it's not the roller coaster that is Tottenham. It's Mourinho. I rate Mourinho. I think he's a great coach. He said after the match, someone asked him, he said, like, Jose used to be known for holding on to these leads. And he said, same manager, different players. So when he got fired at Chelsea, let me go back up. When he got fired at Madrid, it seemed like he was fighting with the players. When he got fired at Chelsea the next time, when he got rehired. He seemed like he was fighting with the players. He got fired at United. There was a lot of player tension, though I think it was more results. It was more results than players. Are we to the point now in the relationship where Daniel Levy's going to have to make a decision? I'm either sticking with Mourinho, I'm going to invest in Mourinho's vision and give him the reins, or do I protect the players that I have? Because it seems like Mourinho is saying that he's going to need not like surgical like precision to fix this. He's going to need fucking dynamite and just like blow up the squad. Right?
Well, I got something for the players.
Okay.
I get a little bone to pick.
Uh-oh.
Sponsored by Buffalo Wild Wings.
Not really, but if you want to sponsor us.
Buffalo Wild Wings, if you're listening.
info.redcardradio@gmail.com.
Spicy garlic and Asian zing, extra ranch. Hold the carrots. I got a little something for it. Because there's reports coming out that players are growing tired of his criticism and getting called out for this stuff. Here, let me tell you something. Did Mourinho drop 13 points from winning positions? Did he do it?
Nope.
Is he out there giving up goals?
Nope.
In the last 15 minutes?
Nope.
Look in the mirror. Blame yourself for your criticism. Step up and win the daggone game. It's not his. Unless he's just somehow at the 75th minute, he's like, you know what? We're tactics around. Everybody play out of position. And just actually throws the game as a manager, which he's not doing. It's your fault. Don't blame yourself. Don't blame him.
But are players more willing to accept that criticism when they feel respected by the manager? And so I'll bring this up. A couple weeks ago, Arsenal play West Ham. And after the match, we draw 3-3. After the match, Lacazette's in the press conference, and he's saying, look, we as players didn't respect the game plan that Arteta put out for us. And so that's why we put ourselves in this position. And so that's a player taking accountability for the actions of the players. I didn't listen to what the Spurs player said after the game.
It just was to that effect.
I don't know what... Okay.
It's the same effect of if I jammed my toe on the bed and broke it, and I got really mad at the bed and threw the bed out. That's the same premise we're talking about here. Okay. I jammed my toe.
But I don't like making this argument, but there's a history here with Mourinho burning bridges with players. I don't think it's a valid criticism in this circumstance because Tottenham players are not the same caliber of players he had at teams like Inter or Madrid or Chelsea. It might have been the same caliber of players he had at United when he was at United, because United were kind of garbage and are still kind of garbage. But
I am going to use a word that I didn't think I would use to describe the team.
Okay.
If that's the way they feel and the way they play on the field, soft. Soft.
I
didn't think I would have to use that word to describe Eric Dyer and Toby, Dele Alli.
Well, Dele, I would say is soft, but I didn't think we'd ever say that about Eric.
But if that's how they truly feel,
how much fight does Kane really have?
I don't think it's him. I don't think it's him. I don't think it's
captain. He's the leader of the team, right? He is the captain, and so he has to be. And I think this is a big criticism of Arsenal's captain as well, is that Aubameyang is not a get in your face and
a vocal leader.
Slap you till you're in line kind of guy. So does it hurt Tottenham to not have a player that's just yo, we're not conceding a goal here.
Yeah.
Get your stuff together.
It does.
And we're not conceding a goal.
It hurts, yeah.
But my question remains: does Daniel Levy who does Daniel Levy pick here?
Oh, Daniel Levy's picking Daniel Levy.
Okay, well, yeah.
That's never a question. Jose's out the door. We're picking some German dude, and then we're moving on. Then we're going to fire him in 3 years when he doesn't make the Champions League.
But so if does Levy actually invest in the squad? If it's not Jose, whoever the next manager is, do they get a chest to go get players? Because if not, I think this fall just keeps happening.
Yeah, have you paid attention to Spurs football for the past 10 years? How long has he been there?
It seems to me, I think he's been the chairman for 20 years or something like that. It's been a long time.
It's net spend zero.
But I think
FC.
Look at the fundamentals of your team and tell me is there a good core that you feel like you could build around?
Yes.
Okay. Go for it, because I don't see it.
You don't think Højbjerg, Ndombele, Son? Well, you're not building around Lucas, but he's a good team player.
But how old are these players is what I'm wondering.
And
Højbjerg is 26. Ndombele is 24. Son's 29.
But that's my point. You don't want the core of your rebuild. I mean, I guess 26 is okay. I mean, because you're talking a rebuild 3 years, and they're 29, and you're challenging from 29 to 32 or something like that. That's kind of old. You'd prefer to be building your team around 22 to 24, players at that age, in my opinion. And so I just, but Højbjerg's been at Spurs for a year. There's no guarantee that if Mourinho leaves that he is really that invested in Tottenham Hotspurs. You know what I mean?
That's what I was gonna say. He's more Højbjerg is good, but he's better as a Mourinho player. He fits what Mourinho wants.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the next manager is going to have that same value point on Højbjerg.
Yeah, he's a smaller Matic at Chelsea.
Yeah, so
I'm not including Matic at United because he was just too old.
So I think that's an interesting kind of thought experiment for Daniel Levy. Is even if I don't, I'm not happy with the results, because clearly I don't think the Spurs hierarchy is happy with these results. Even if you guys win the League Cup, I mean, you win a League Cup. I mean, I don't think you get too excited. I mean, maybe Spurs get excited about it. I don't know.
I mean, that was their last trophy they won.
Yeah, I know.
We put it right below the Audi Cup.
And Jose still gets your trophy.
I don't know. Do we keep talking about Spurs anymore? I don't know.
No, here's the issue to address what you're talking about. Is Levy's already said we're net spending zero. Whatever we get in the summer, it's coming out of selling players.
Okay.
So if we want to rebuild we've got to sell Son and Kane. Because that's the value.
I don't know what the financial fundamentals are at Tottenham in terms of. I need to go look at a Swiss Ramble article on Twitter.
Zero.
Okay, I get
That's zero.
But aren't you guys really hampered by debt because of your stadium build?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a big concern, and with coronavirus, these are actually legit concerns. So Daniel Levy being we need to be the kings of net spend this summer, I think that's not a terrible stance to take. But I guess the question is, do you guys really have assets other than Son?
That's what I'm saying. We have to sell Son and Kane, and that's combined probably 140 million.
I think you're undervaluing Kane.
I think
you don't think I'm getting 100 out of Son?
To whom?
Not in this market.
To whom? Who's paying that for Son?
I guess probably. I'm thinking about a world where Barcelona still can buy people.
I think maybe.
I don't think Barca goes for Son though.
I think maybe pre-COVID you could see Son fetch, but Son is a commercial asset more than anything else, because he's got an enormous following. So his value is more than just as a football player, and he's a damn good football player. But he also has huge commercial impact as well. So Son
sales in Asia.
Yeah, Son is a really interesting and important player. But Harry Kane, he's how old is he? He's
29.
Yeah, nobody's.
I was planning 30-40 out of him.
Yeah, I think the most money you're getting out of Harry Kane is if Manchester United comes for him. I think if he goes internationally, I think you're lucky to get 30 million for him.
He's 27.
Pause. He's 27.
Even
so you're getting 70-80 million for him, because you're getting at least 3-4 years out of him.
I just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I don't see it. The only way I see you getting that much from him is if an English team is willing to pay the English tax, which might be even more inflated because of Brexit. I don't know. Like, so that the English tax might start to get hyperinflated in England.
But like Harry Kane's value is already high enough that like the English tax doesn't matter because his value would be there if he wasn't English, right? The English tax comes on people like what's his name that went. We bought a couple people for 20 mil that were worth 5 or 10 mil because they were English.
Well, you look at someone like
he's going to end his career as the all-time leading scorer
of Tottenham or of the Premier League.
Oh, he's already the leading scorer of Tottenham.
He's got like 86 more goals for the past year.
He's 27. He's already the leading scorer of Tottenham.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's right behind whoever he's. I think he's third
in the Premier League era, or in English football.
Premier League era.
Is it Premier? No.
I think so.
Well, if you're talking like, yeah, it's probably the Premier League. But I don't know. I just don't see how you get that much money for Harry Kane, in my opinion. I think Son a lot more than Kane.
He's 8th, by the way. At 162, he's got for just the Premier League, he's 162. He's got 98 goals past year.
I mean, yeah, he could do it if he stays in England, as long as he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's that, like 20 goals a year for 5 years? I mean, like, how many?
Which he's done.
Yeah, he's doing that. Like, I mean, even like
he's got a good chance. Yeah, I mean, so does he stay at Spurs? That's the question.
I mean, he probably gets the most money staying at Spurs, right? Like so, like it's gonna be lucrative for him to stay at Spurs. But like then that speaks to Harry's ambition. Like, what does he want to win the Premier League? Does he want to compete in Europe? Things like that. Like, I think that Spurs will be involved in Europe, but it'll probably be the Europa League for the time being. Like, I don't think they're getting into the top 4 this year. It's possible, but I don't really see it happening, just based on like recent form, and I don't know what the strength of your remaining schedule looks like, Sean. That was actually a question I wanted to broadly ask the group about, like, realistically, how many points do you see your team finishing on? Maybe we'll look at that next week. But I don't know. I think it looks. I mean, 3 points isn't that much.
Games. He's got You got Everton, United, and Leicester left.
Perhaps I'm just prognosticating on, and I'm like, my anti-Spurs bias is just showing. I don't know. It's possible.
I was doing math. Math and geometry. Harry Kane passes Thierry Henry by October of next year. Just want to point that out.
How many is that?
Assuming he doesn't get hurt in September like he always does.
How many's Henry on?
It's 162 to 175.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, how many?
September's ambitious. I was doing the math wrong.
I mean, the thing is, he doesn't.
13 goals. He'll have 13 by January.
Harry Kane doesn't score in August. Like, it's impossible for him to score in August.
And he gets hurt in September.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I don't know why I looked at that and thought 7, because I guess I was going the other way, but.
It's probably because you're trying to use geometry to solve that problem.
Yeah.
It's Sean Math. Hashtag Sean Math.
It was the geometry.
All right. The last thing I will say about this Newcastle Spurs result is that's actually a huge point for Newcastle.
Yeah.
It puts them 3 clear of Fulham because Fulham lost, and a game in hand over Fulham. So it could potentially be 6 points over Fulham. But they were also no one's expecting Newcastle to take any points off of Spurs. So just taking 1 point off of Spurs is huge, in my opinion, at this point in the season. And that's all I got to say. You guys can chime in with your final thoughts on that match if you'd like.
I don't know what we got on the. I guess we can kind of bounce around after that point, but I just wanted to move to that Fulham game because I watched that game.
Yeah.
Fulham looked in control. They scored first, and then all of a sudden, I was like, "What is going on?" Like, it felt like the wheels fell off.
They lost concentration, and then it was all just downhill.
Yeah, they had it.
And it was like, oh gosh.
Yeah, that's the mark of a team that's in a relegation scrap, right? Is there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Like you look at a team like Arsenal, they're inconsistent like game to game, but like Fulham are like inconsistent in the game.
I don't want to miss this dig.
Okay, let's have it.
The mark of a relegation team is dropping points late. Is that what you said?
Oh no, I said they're like that they're inconsistent
Yes, he did
throughout
say
the
that.
game.
If he didn't say it, I said it.
Ah, yes. and those goals were scored 78th, 81st, 87th. Reminds me of a certain one Hart Lane, whatever. I don't know their number on their address, but a White Hart Lane team.
Yes. I get your drift now.
The relegation team of North London.
That took James a few minutes there to get where you were going. I knew.
Well, we just talked about it. I thought you'd be on that.
Well, when you said the dig, I was kind of like, is this an Arsenal dig? Like, do I need to defend myself? And so like my brain is keyed in on like how I can defend my club. And then I realized that you were being self-deprecating, and I appreciated it because I love self-deprecating humor. But when I look at the results, nothing really stands out to me. I did think this was humorous. West Ham got up 3-0 in the first half. Late first half goal for Wolves. And these West Ham players and David Moyes have to be going into the dressing room being like, yo, not again. This cannot happen again. Where we get up 3-0, give up one goal right before halftime, and then go on to like lose our win. And then Wolves score again. And these players have to be like, oh my God, why is this happening again? It's Groundhog's Day. But they were able to hold out, which I thought was humorous. But Jesse Lingard, he's been huge for West Ham. Do you think that he's willing to give up on his Man U career to lead the line at West Ham?
I mean, I feel like it's the same conversation. It's a same but different conversation with Harry Kane, right? Does Harry Kane want to win trophies? Does Lingard want to play? Or does he want to sit on the bench to say that he's a United player?
I mean, you might not win trophies at United anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying. But
there's more of a possibility. I mean, yeah, Manchester United are the second biggest footballing club. You could make an argument they're the biggest footballing club in England. I don't. But they're one of the largest footballing institutions in the world. But West Ham aren't a small club in England. Like West Ham are an important club in England. So I don't think it's necessary. Like it's clearly a step down going from Manchester United to West Ham United. It's clearly a step down, but it's not like going to West Brom or something like that. They're still an important English club. But
you're going from like top 4, top 6 to top 6, top 10, top 11.
Yeah, there's different ambitions for those clubs.
Right, but you're playing, so it's like the Zaha debate.
Yeah, but this is an aberration. This is an aberration.
Yeah, West Ham's never this high up. I know they are this year, and they're playing great. And I'm not taking anything away from this season, but they're a mid-table team.
I think West Ham walk into every season and they're like, let's finish 6th. Let's make it into the Europa League, and let's make a run in the FA Cup. I think that's kind of the mindset of a West Ham team. Like if West Ham finish 6th and make it to the semifinal or the quarterfinal or the semifinal of the FA Cup, I think that's a happy season for a West Ham United team.
That's a great season for a West Ham United team. They're getting European football. Where Manchester United, European football is expected.
Yeah, exactly.
West Ham is
Bill Parcells said, "You are what your record says you are."
Yes, yes. And
they are where they are because they played that well.
Yes, I agree with you. But the argument,
historical record,
thank you,
says that they are not who they are this year.
Exactly.
Tell that to Leicester in 2016.
Leicester's recruitment is phenomenal. Leicester did what they had to do, and they keep selling players and keep finding gems. Right? Leicester is a different beast. They won the league and then invested that money smartly. West Ham never really invests smartly.
Come on, Andy Carroll. Come on.
Right? You're saying, right? Lingard would be a great investment for them. Holding on to Declan would be a great investment for them.
I mean, the question is whether or not Manchester United is going to allow Lingard to leave, especially after how well he's been playing. I don't really necessarily see United giving up on a young talent like that.
Does Old Gunner rate him?
Old Gunner.
Old Gunner hasn't been playing him.
Old Gunner.
OGS.
I love
That's
that you call
Thierry
him
Henry. He's an old gunner.
Old gunner. It's like Tony Adams in the back. But
does the gym coach rate him?
Tony Adams is an Arsenal player, by the way, guys.
We all just ignored that part.
I know, but I'm trying to educate you. Somebody's got to educate you guys if Tamzy is not here.
Fact.
No, they're not taking him back, and here's why.
Okay, tell me.
It starts with R and ends with Onadol. Damn it.
Ronaldo?
Onadol. I can't do it. Ronaldo.
He's going back to Real.
No, he's not.
He's going back to. He doesn't want to.
He's going home to United.
No,
he's out of Juventus.
I don't think I agree there. I agree he's out of Italy, but I don't think he wants to play in the Prem at that age.
Sorry, I didn't put a Y on it.
Oh.
It was amazing, your pronunciation there.
Of Juventus.
Yeah, Juventus, me Ventus. He's gone Ventus.
I think that maybe United would be the only team foolish enough to pick up his wages.
Yes, that's why I had said that.
I was trying to think about that today, and because
him and Lingard played the same position.
I generally agree with you that I don't think that Ronaldo is going to play another season for Juve.
They play the same. They're both kind of on the left forward.
But
I guess Ronaldo probably can play just about anywhere up top.
Because my thought process on Cristiano's situation was I just assumed he would go to PSG because PSG has infinite money. But I don't think unless they lose Mbappe and or Neymar this summer, I don't really see.
For just the pod listeners, I did air quotes around infinite money because it's fake.
You're saying their money is fake, or that money in general is fake, or
their books are fake?
Oh,
because they're just throwing,
they're cooking
and just hiding it in the books somewhere, so they don't get financial fair play.
Well, financial fair play is a joke anyway. So
City proved
clearly, because they caught City and they were like, "We're gonna slap you on the wrist," and then they were like, "You can play."
Well, no, City's argument was, "Yeah, we did it, but how you got the information was wrong."
Yeah, so they caught him and then they still didn't punish him. So yeah, it is a joke.
My thought process was always that he would end up at PSG, but as I was watching PSG this afternoon, I still, unless they lose Mbappe and Neymar, I don't really see PSG being in for him. And then Why would Real Madrid take Ronaldo back? What's the upside? What's the upside?
Zidane loved him. I don't know.
I'm okay with it because that means that maybe if Ronaldo goes back to Madrid, that means Zidane doesn't get fired, and that means Odegaard is not in the plans, and that means Arsenal will buy Odegaard to help fund whatever transfers you want. Real Madrid, let's make a deal. But
right.
I don't think those three things are happening because unless Madrid win the Champions League and maybe even win La Liga, I don't really see Zidane staying. There's just so much this nastiness at Madrid.
The semis.
Oh, I think
we're coming for them for how they treated Hamburger Boy.
So I don't. Maybe we're too in the weeds here.
Yeah, we gotta.
We totally are way in the weeds.
Let's quickly talk. I apologize.
Red Card Radio, where we break down where Cristiano Ronaldo is going.
This was our weekly look at the Italian Serie A. Anyway, I did watch the Juve. I did watch the Juve Napoli game today, but I digress.
And we gotta get it in for Will.
Yeah, probably our most loyal podcast listener.
Yeah, he'll probably
and YouTube listener and YouTube follower.
Can't wait for him to hear Juventus, me Ventus, gone Ventus.
That's the name of the pod. I don't know what you're talking about. He's going to see it.
So in the Champions League, Real Madrid slapped Liverpool. I'm really, really, really sad that Tamzy's not here today because he's been talking a colossal amount of smack about what Mo Salah was going to do in Spain, and that did not happen. City beat Dortmund, kind of expectedly, but Dortmund kind of got screwed, I think, in a couple situations.
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
Chelsea beat. We can talk about whatever you want, Brad. This is your podcast. This is our podcast.
It's not my podcast.
It's our podcast. We can talk. We've got as much time as we want, man.
Because
but let me set up the rest of the Champions League first.
I'm with
Hold
you.
your horses.
I'm coming in.
Hold your horses. Chelsea beat Porto, 2 important away goals, and I think in the shock result of the weekend, or of the week of Europa League, Champions League football, excuse me, PSG scored 3 away goals away to Munich and won the game 3-2. But Brad, please go in on the Dortmund game.
It's not necessarily the Dortmund game. It's everybody yelling about VAR when VAR was not the issue. The ref blew the whistle early on Bellingham's goal. Instead of letting the play go out like they do with offsides, with whatever foul happens, like he blew the whistle immediately, cutting off the goal. So this wasn't a VAR issue. This was a referee issue that robbed Dortmund of their goal. Yeah. And Jude apparently had a heck of a game. I didn't get to watch it too much, but Jude Bellingham apparently had an amazing monster game, and then was robbed this goal, and everybody was using the Drogba meme, and that made me smile. I miss Drogba. But that was my main issue, is like, when are the refs going to be held accountable for those things?
I mean, he's probably going to be held accountable. He's probably just not going to be. He's probably not going to be reffing any more matches. So like he'll be. I mean, like, granted, like, what are there? There's 4 more quarterfinals. There's 4 more semifinals, and then there's a final. So there's 9 games left in the Champions League this season. So like, yeah, he probably doesn't get another game.
Okay, but you would think, like, at this point in time, they can find 12, 15 referees.
Yeah, I mean, like,
of a decent caliber.
Everyone has a screamer every now and then.
True.
Madrid, I do want to focus on this Madrid-Liverpool game.
Yes.
Liverpool were toothless. They were absolutely toothless. I don't know if you watched that game, but that was the game I watched. And Madrid did whatever they want with them. And they couldn't deal with Vinicius. Like, he was doing whatever he wanted. Trent got skinned on multiple occasions by Mendy.
The best right back in England, you mean?
I mean, I don't want to wade into those weeds because Arsenal right backs are not top tier right now. But Trent did not have a good game. And Madrid just kind of did whatever they wanted in that match. And I think that Jurgen Klopp was disappointed or unhappy with the refereeing, but I thought the referee had an impeccable game. I thought he reffed the game very well. So, I mean, I was promised a Mo Salah hat trick at the Bernabeu, even though the game was not played at the Bernabeu, and I had to remind Tamsy of that at least twice.
Maybe it should have been played at the Bernabeu, and that's why Salah wasn't playing.
Well, that was one of Klopp's complaints. Was like he was mad that it was like a training ground pitch. It's like, that's such a low bar complaint in my opinion, but whatever.
Well, yeah. Did you see the call with Mane that he's talking about that should have been a foul or a penalty or whatever? Mane didn't get anything.
I'm sure I saw it in the game.
It just didn't.
It just didn't register with me because it wasn't. I thought the ref did an impeccable job. I thought he was a good ref. He's a good ref in my opinion. I don't remember what his name is, but I think he's a good ref. When I look at him and I see him, I'm like, I want that dude reffing the Arsenal game.
Because I mean, if Jurgen Klinsmann came out with that, is he even going to be on the bench for the next game?
That's a good question. UEFA doesn't take kindly to questioning referees. Arsene Wenger had a lot of spats with UEFA and a lot of touchline bans over comments about referees in the past. So it would only be fair if Jurgen Klopp had to watch it from the owner's box.
That's the precedent that's set.
I think so.
So
what I scrolled across was a little bit of a breakdown of what Zidane was doing to Klopp, and you know they're typically a pressing team and they're just their defense isn't up to snuff this year. So what it said he was basically doing was he flipped his triangle in the middle where Cruz was playing behind Casemiro, and what he would do was drop it short to Casemiro, get them to press Casemiro, then they would pass it back to Cruz to outlet the ball. And that was the way they were, just to break through that initial press.
Yeah.
And then they're through to the playmaker. Then they're through to to Modric and Vincenus and Benzema, and they're off.
Yeah, that's actually when you say that, and I think about the game that I watched. That's true.
Yeah.
So
that's how they were getting through that initial press line, and I thought that was a really interesting point because as much as they press, you think they either recognize it early enough to fix it, or react to it in some sort of way, or already have a plan in place to react to it.
I think that we were just not expecting Trent to have as bad a game. Jurgen Klopp was not expecting Trent to have as bad a game as he did, and he just had a bad game. And these things happen, and I don't think we should read too much into it. Trent is a very, 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 very good player. I know that you want to meme him, Brad. I know that you want to, have your boy Reese's back, but Trent Alexander-Arnold is a phenomenal football player, and we would all have him on our teams in a heartbeat. But he just had a really bad game. And I think that's what you leave it up to.
So do they bring it back at Anfield, or does Liverpool just keep losing? Is it Madrid, Chelsea?
Who'd they come back on when they won?
It was Barcelona.
Barcelona.
They beat
Barca.
Maybe it's that all over.
But there might be fans though. But there are games being played in front of crowds.
The first match that's going to have fans is the League Cup final. And that's happening after these rounds of because these quarterfinal fixtures are happening next week. A week from now, right?
When do we get
it's not at Anfield, is it? I don't think it's at Anfield, is it? Or are we the only ones playing at neutral? Is Chelsea the only team playing at neutral grounds?
Yeah, it's being played at Anfield.
Okay, I was just curious because both of the games for Chelsea Porto are at Sevilla.
Oh, really? That's why you said Sevilla.
Yeah, that's why I said Sevilla. Yep.
Oh,
6 goals. That's our bridge away from the bridge.
And so my joke about building a stadium in Portugal because that your owner could enter fell flat because it wasn't actually in Portugal.
Yeah,
interesting.
It was in Sevilla. Yeah,
got it now. Understand.
Yeah. So I don't think Chelsea's allowed into Portugal.
Yeah, I think Portugal's probably a hot zone then.
Yeah, or England is more likely.
I think England's the hot zone.
But
if England was the hot zone, then they wouldn't allow. Then none of these countries would allow these teams to be traveling to like Spain wouldn't allow Liverpool to travel into Spain, right? Right?
Different rules.
We didn't say Spain. Yeah, we didn't say we didn't say these countries were intelligent.
I think it's British rules that aren't allowing teams to. I think it's British rules that aren't allowing Liverpool to get or Chelsea to get into Portugal and then back into England and the Portuguese team into anywhere. It doesn't matter.
Anyways,
it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You want to talk Europa?
Let's do it.
Go to the next weekend.
We're talking Europa?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's English teams in it.
Sean, do you have an opinion for the Europa League?
Ain't talking about Europa no more. James, would you like to talk about Europa?
Yes. And I think it's anecdotally funny that UEFA announced a provisional ban for the player on Slavia Prague that was accused of racism after the fact that they announced that he wasn't going to come to England because of health reasons. I did air quotes there for the audio listeners. But a report came out that the British police were going to want to not interrogate him, but talk to him about the situation. And so apparently, in my reading of the situation, I have no knowledge of what's going on here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But it sounds like they were like, yo, we can't let this dude back into the United Kingdom because he's going to get arrested for being a racist. And I'm not generally a big fan about laws that are curtailing speech, regardless of how reprehensible the speech is. But that I thought was humorous. But yeah, no, not a whole lot to talk about. Arsenal better win. If not, I'm going to be sad.
Racism wins. You're fighting for all anti-racism.
Racism can't win, right? Right, world.
Correct.
Right, world.
Yeah, well, so you better win the daggone game.
Hey, right? It's written in the stars for Chelsea to win this. It's got to be written in the stars that Arsenal can knock out racism.
We've got to shoot it with a cannon.
Yes.
That's right.
All right.
Bring the gunners.
And then dump its tea in the sea.
Wait, what?
I don't know.
What?
I just wanted to say that.
Huh? Is this
What?
Boston?
Do they have an American on the squad?
Is this New England Revolution or something like that?
Wow.
I don't know. We could make it.
That's where Ruben Loftus-Cheek goes to lose his career.
Let's try and get back on track here. Because we said this was going to be shorter because it was only the three of us, and we're absolutely going to be longer. But all right,
Go line for line here, but there are some good ones.
Yeah, so I put all of the games on our rundown. The only games that I think are interesting are the bolded ones. So like,
oh, you missed one.
Did I?
I'm looking at one right now.
Tell me.
Liverpool Villa.
You think? Really?
Yeah, that's going to be a good game.
First game back. I don't think it's gonna. I don't.
Coming off a big time turnaround win. What are Liverpool going to look like? They just got dump trucked by Madrid, and now they got to come back and play Villa. And Villa's good.
Yeah.
That's a good game. I'm interested. It could be a not very good game, but I'm sure am interested to see how it goes.
I mean,
that could go sideways.
You're probably right. The more I think about that, they're within like 4 points of each other or something like that.
And then that's their game in hand against them too. So they win that. It's 47-49, and then they still have a game in hand on Liverpool.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
That's a big time game.
Yeah, that's a huge game for Villa, and actually it's an important game as well for Liverpool, because if Liverpool got a different result away to Madrid, if they won the game away to Madrid, you could kind of say maybe the job's done in Europe. We can play a more serious side in the Premier League. But now with it kind of.
They've got to strap it up.
Well, yeah,
they got to go.
You kind of have to go for the Premier League match because you need to guarantee Champions League football through the Premier League, because you can't guarantee that you're going to turn around a result against Real Madrid. Oh, this is getting more interesting the more I think about it. I'm gonna retroactively embolden that game, but. Other interesting games. I mean, Burnley-Newcastle is an interesting game only because it's bottom feeder against bottom feeder. But I think both those teams are ultimately safe in the long run. But West Ham-Leicester, that's an interesting game. Spurs against United. Spurs host United. And West Brom against Southampton could be interesting. Everything else is kind of not super interesting in my opinion. Fulham play Wolves, City play Leeds, Palace play Chelsea, Burnley play Newcastle, Sheffield play Arsenal, and Brighton play Everton. I mean, there's interesting storylines. All these games are important at this point, but like, I think of the 10 off the weekend, those 4 games, Liverpool, Villa, West Ham, Leicester, Spurs, United, and West Brom, Southampton are probably the most interesting. Sean, what do you expect out of the Spurs game?
I'm looking through because this is the quietest 6th place team I've seen in my life. And I'm just looking back through, just trying to figure out how the heck they got to 2nd. And just kind of scanning through their results. They have done diddly doo-doo against anybody worth a crap.
That's true.
And last time, I'm not even going to bring up the last time we played because they got a red, it got ugly, it got out of hand, and they gave up. So I'm not even going to bring up the 6th one. But they beat City. I'm not going to bring up the fact that we beat them 6-1 in a game. There's no need to bring that up.
As he conveniently brings it up.
But they beat City. Other than that, it's been draw after draw, and they're just winning the games they are supposed to.
Well, that's been a complaint against Manchester United this year, is that they don't show up for like top 6 games, and against I'll
run through some of their most recent top 6. They beat City, so I did give them that one.
Yeah.
Then it's a draw Chelsea. Then you've got what?
We're talking about Big 6. I meant to say Big 6, not top 6. Big 6 games.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's who I was hitting. They got a draw Liverpool. That's a semifinal.
Draw at Arsenal.
Then there was a draw Liverpool. They're just drawing the top 6 and then winning everything else.
Which is what you're
working. They're in 2nd, so I can't.
You're supposed to do.
Yeah,
of course.
I can't bash them too much.
But that's why they're in 2nd and not fighting for the title.
Correct.
That is.
Even though
That's the
they
difference.
beat City
Doesn't
still are 11 points clear of them, or whatever it is.
Yep.
So, but what do you expect out of that game? You guys beat them 6-1 last time out. Are you going to beat them? No.
You watched the Newcastle game?
Okay. Yeah, I get.
Here's what's gonna
Pessimism FC.
happen. We're gonna be up 2-1 about the 82nd minute. Rashford crashing the back post.
All right.
Draw.
All
Because
right.
that's one. That's United MO. Two. That's Tottenham's MO.
So it's just why play the game?
It's just Mo.
Just give
MO.
So-
everybody a point now.
If that happens, is this Jose's last game?
No, he gets the League
No.
Cup final.
He's getting the League Cup.
He gets the end of the season. He gets to the end of the season.
He's getting the League Cup.
And what's the point in firing him now? Like maybe you rescue top 4, but who are you hiring?
Well, I could tell you, if he loses to United and then loses the League Cup, now we're out of all competitions. That's when he probably gets fired. If he's going to get fired mid-season, that's it. That's the scenario.
I mean, it comes back down to the conversation we had before. Does Levy go with his players, or does he go with his manager?
I don't think he can go with the players because he doesn't have good players. Anyway, that's the
We
point I was
have
trying to
good
make.
players. Where is this narrative coming from?
The Arsenal bias.
I asked you to give me the core of players that you build around, and you gave me,
You gave me
3
two.
players.
I
You
gave
gave me
them-
4 players, and 2 of them you have to sell because they're the only marketable value players. That
I
you have.
actually didn't name Kane.
Because you were intending to sell them for $100 million.
Yes. No, I was intending to sell the other one for $100 million.
My point stands. Yeah, I think the Leicester West Ham game could be interesting if West Ham, they show up to play. They've been playing really well recently. I'm clearly going to be watching Sheffield Arsenal. I'm sure Brad's clearly going to be watching
Chelsea.
Palace Chelsea, the Crystal Palace, the bane of Sean's existence.
That is.
We'll
They
have,
are the team of London, let me tell you, boys.
Maybe we'll wear our matching kits for them too.
those third kits are
Hideous.
supremely disgusting, Brad.
Yes, they're hideous.
And Chelsea have a track record of supremely disgusting kits, and those ones are
Have you seen our new home jersey for next year?
I'll watch.
Oh my God.
I'll see it at your last home game of the season
my
this year
God.
because you guys
Oh.
always
I
do
just
that.
want you to bring back the public bus seat.
the Greyhound bus seat.
It is,
I
bro.
think that's
It's
what
worse
those are.
than the Greyhound bus seats. It's worse. I'd rather them wear Greyhound bus seats than this new Jersey
All right,
idea.
we're 100% done.
There we are.
So, thanks for listening. This was our talk on the Premier League after match day 30. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Check back with us next week, and you'll be able to hear Tamzid defend Liverpool, hopefully, and see what he's got to say about what we've said. The man to my left, right up here on top of me, that's at KS Brad G. Holding down the bottom row all by himself, that's at redcard_Sean, SEAN Sean, not other Sean. What, Brad?
Whoa. At redcard_Sean?
What did I say?
You said at redcard_Sean? I'm pretty sure it's at whiteheart_Sean.
Who let me host this podcast?
I don't know.
That was 100% a mistake.
You just... Sean, you got cheated now. I guess you
In
changed
about
it
2
now.
more losses, it's going to be Leeds United under.
Okay, Whiteheart_Sean. Still Sean spelled the same way, but Whiteheart spelled as in Whiteheart, not Redcard. We are at Redcard_radio, right? Still, that's what we still are.
I think so.
I think so.
I don't even know at this point.
I don't know. You messed it up. You messed it all up.
It'll be linked in our YouTube. I've got a Word document saved.
Redcard_radio.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm at James
Right.
Tiffany. That's really easy for me to remember because it's my name.
All right, we're gone. We're gone, Ventus. Let's go.
That's all we got. Check back with us next week. Rate, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Thanks so much. Good night.